I hope all is well in your world. This is celebrity photographer Ty Waterman with the BKS Experience. Um, I want to wait for a few more of y'all to roll on through so we can kind of talk a little bit. We are a family here. I hope, some of y'all gonna roll in and you might talk back. Some of y'all won't say a thing, and that's totally fine. But it's heavy today. This is a heavy topic. Um, it's definitely a heavy topic. So hopefully you saw this. Hopefully this has interest in you, and some of y'all see the image and know who it is. There'll probably be somebody that's gonna roll in and they won't know who this is. A lot of my topics have been rather controversial. Hopefully this one is not as controversial, but you never know. Some things are hit or miss with people. But today, I just wanted to show some love for Malcolm-Jamal Warner, aka or BKA, better known as Theo Huxtable. If you don't know who Theo Huxtable is, I don't know what to tell you. Um, Theo Huxtable is a legend. Uh, he's our brother. I mean, he's my brother. I don't know if he's your brother, but if you grew up in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, maybe the early 2000s, you should know who Theo Huxtable is. Theo Huxtable was the only son of Heathcliff Huxtable, aka Bill Cosby of the Cosby Show, a show that his name had nothing to do with the show, other than it was his show. The legacy of the show, unfortunately, has been tarnished, but yet you can't change the legacy of the people that were involved on that show. Um, Malcolm-Jamal Warner, better known as Theo Huxtable, he played a significant role on that show throughout the years that it existed. Um, and he was an amazing actor. He was a poet. He was a musician. He was an activist, for those of y'all that didn't know. And he's never, to my knowledge, had any of the negative things in front of our eyes the way that a lot of childhood stars have been popping up. Like there's a lot of child stars that when we watch their lives unfold before our eyes, when their shows end, it's always negative. It's always something where it's not a positive thing. My boy Darius McCrary, aka Eddie Winslow, has always like been back and forth on the news, gossip all over the internet. There's always some kind of tea dropping about Eddie Winslow. Even freaking Urkel. There's a lot of stuff going back and forth about him, left and right. But Theo Huxtable, aka Malcolm-Jamal Warner, you never, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you never heard anything negative about him. It's always been nothing but positive. And he's one of those actors that stayed working. He most recently had a show called The Resident. I believe it was on Fox, where he basically was a resident at a hospital, you know? And I just feel like he probably didn't get enough praise that he deserved, and over the years, and some of the stuff that because of like the Cosby Show connection with Bill Cosby, it got drowned out. Um, McDonald men, I don't know what you're saying, and uh, aduptious, you farted. Wow, I smelt that. I knew that's what I smelled. Butterfly 723 Jenky. Facts. It's pure. It's pure facts. He's not. Malcolm Jamal wasn't like in the. You ain't find him on TMZ every other week because he did something crazy. You found him on TMZ because he was talking, or somebody ran up on him and was asking him what he thought about Bill Cosby. pretty much. But people weren't asking him, "Oh, what's your latest show? What you got going on?" Like I said, Malcolm Jamal stayed working. He stayed doing things. He was somebody that definitely was a positive brother. And he spoke up for those that didn't have a voice, the voiceless. Um, I just definitely wanted to get on here and just show him some love, some appreciation. Think about, you can name a couple shows. So we say Family Matter, Eddie Winslow, right? That was another one of our brothers. For some of us, it related to us in ways that the Cosby Show didn't. I grew up on those two shows. I grew up on Good Times, but I didn't relate to the children. I had a crush on Thelma. I got to tell her, Bernadette Stannis. I had a chance to tell her, and Laura Winslow, that I had a crush on them. I met Rudy Huxtable. I met all of those girls. I met them. I met Rudy Huxtable, aka Keisha Nate Pulliam. And here's the thing: I wanted to tell her that I had a crush on her, but let me tell you, when I got in front of her, I was so nervous and so shook that all I could do was take the picture, and I added a couple um, um, and I couldn't really tell her that I had a childhood crush on her. Um, Ty One Eagle says it's not easy working in the business. It is not. It's. I swear it's not. I didn't work in the business, but I've met a lot of those child stars, and even some that are not necessarily child stars, but they grew up in the industry, and some of them are downright some of the best people that did not get a fair handshake. Um, some of them had the wrong people behind them, and it led them down the wrong path. You know, whether it's substances that they shouldn't have been using, whether it was just interacting with people that just dragged them down. But nonetheless, I'm just glad to be able to be a part of the industry, in the sense that I'm able to capture the moments. I never got to meet Malcolm Jamal Warner, and that's one thing that I'm like, wow, like I wanted to meet him. I interviewed, not interviewed, well, I interviewed a couple people like Eddie Winslow. I interviewed uh, Thelma from Good Times, and there's a couple other that I interviewed, and I literally was saying that I want to meet Malcolm. I sent him a message, um, but like some of them don't necessarily run their page, and or if they're not following you, it's hard for you to send them a message to say, "Hey, I'd like to reach out. I want to get in contact with you. I want to do X, Y, and Z," because they don't. It gets pushed to a different folder on there. Um, Dude was the few good people in Hollywood, yes, and I always loved that. He never talked bad on Bill Cosby, and he never fully gave his opinion, because sometimes you got to just stay out of it, right? Because if you start saying, "Oh, he's my father on the show, I love him, this is not true," then you start, like, your stock goes down with people, because people are like, "Oh, you're defending that man." So rather than do that, he just praised his time on the show. He never really said what he fully thought, and I love him for that, right? Um, I love him because he always maintained a positive spirit about him. When there were certain injustices out in the world, he would either speak up about it, and if he didn't speak up about it, he did something about it. Like, he was an activist on that level, right? But his characters and roles were always roles in which he was a positive brother. He was always doing something, so he didn't drag our people down. He didn't make us feel like we didn't have anything to aspire to. He was that brother that you always look up to. On the show, he was ditzy, he was funny, he was always scheming and stuff like that. But then as he got older, he became a mentor, he became a teacher, he became somebody that is like, wow, I could aspire to do that. Ty Eagle One, for him to go through life and never get caught up is a blessing. It is truly a blessing because I can name a whole bunch of people that I have met, and there has always been some kind of negative controversy about them. Thankfully, like Rudy Huxtable, there was no negativity about her. But the minute like she had a problem with her husband or something like that, it's like people try to drag her. Bernadette Stannis, aka Thelma, there wasn't controversy about her. I'm thankful for that. But then there's Darius McCrary, who I've met many occasions. That's like my brother. When it comes to like what I'm doing in this industry, he always sending me messages of positivity and good love. And then he gets caught up in all kinds of stuff. But he's the type of brother who thrives off of that because he knows how to fend it off and he knows how to handle himself. Some people will fold, but he'll just accept it, take it on the chin, and he'll turn it into something else. He'll joke about it. He'll just say, okay, Um, they never say anything about the good people. They don't. Darius is always being talked about because of all the controversy, whether it's him being with that chick. Remember that chick who wrote the book about the rappers? He was married to her, Superhead. Allegedly, he abused her, and that was put out there. And I say allegedly because I'm not in that relationship. I don't know what the scenario is other than what we're told. But a lot of times we get a clip and we run with it. We see a headline and we run with it. We don't get to know the people. We don't get to meet the people. But what we do know is like Superhead was saying a lot of stuff. We don't know what was true, what wasn't true. You know. Hey, Ty One Eagle. If you're not already following me, please subscribe, follow. I'm going to start my Twitch soon. I'm shooting for August 1st at twitch.tv/BKS experience. I want to be able to, hear me out, go live on that platform. It is a platform where it has a young audience. So I want to be able to bridge the gap between the unks, people from my generation, and the younger audience. But the reason why I'm going on there also is I have more creative control over there. I can play music, I can play videos, I can have things popping up. We can play games on there, like I have a game where I play trivia. So it might be like R&B trivia, hip hop trivia, maybe even TV show trivia. But I want to be able to interact and do things like that. Can I do that on this platform? I possibly can, but I want to be able to build and do that over there, and at the same time share the same stuff over here. Um, so yeah, to be able to do that, that'll be dope. But what I want to do also is maybe have a celebrity or two get involved at some point. Reach one, help one. Yeah, because you help me grow, I'm gonna help you grow. Plus, I'm going to be in need of moderators to help me with this chat here, and or possibly over there, because there are a lot of crazy people that like to jump in these chats, especially depending on the topic. We've been cool today. I had a dude that came in here, farted, and left. Well, I don't know if he left because he could still be here. He literally wrote, "I just farted, my bad." But to like when I did my first thing, I had my nephew, who's a top battle rapper, upcoming battle rapper, excuse me, and that was quiet when I first did it. Nobody knew I was going live. I just did it. We did a little mukbang, had some fish, and talked about being in that part of the industry, right? And then my next thing I did was a Diddy talk. As a celebrity photographer, I took photos at a Diddy party. I did not go to a freak off, but I talked about what that was. I broke down the trial and what that meant because a lot of people don't have the proper education on what happened. When I say that, I'm not calling anybody stupid, but we are in a TikTok generation where we get our news from TikTok, which is about a 30-second clip, sometimes less, that says one headline that's like wild and blatant, and we run with it. For example, with Diddy, that headline was "he's free." and he's not free. But what they do is they take images and videos of that are older, that are out of context, and it makes it look like it matches that headline, and then people run with it. And then the one I did about 2 days ago was R. Kelly talk, where I basically broke down that trial a little bit, but I talked about the rumors and allegations that are current. So there's a lot of things where people think he's going to get out soon. He's not getting out no time soon. So sometimes I talk about stuff because I just want to educate people more. Today is one of those negative, positive things. Negative in the sense that we lost Malcolm-Jamal Warner. In fact, from what I gather, he was on like a family vacation and he drowned. I don't know anything further than that. I don't want to allude to anything further than that. I don't want to say something that's like off the wall. You know what I mean? I rather just leave y'all with that, just to know that he is not here with us anymore. Um, but I don't know if did y'all watch the Cosby Show? I don't know anybody's age. You know, you're not even supposed to check people's age, but did y'all watch the Cosby Show? And if you did, what was your episode? Favorite episode? And if not the Cosby, maybe you saw a different world, because that was solid right there too. You know, the fact that we got not just freaking the Cosby Show, we got a different world out of there. Um, when Lisa Bonet character went off to college, that gave us people like Jada Pinkett Smith, Marissa Tomei. So a lot of people think they know Marissa from like movies and stuff like that, but she, one of her starting things was A Different World. She was a whole college student on A Different World. You know, we got my boy Dwayne Wayne. He had the shades that flip up. You know, he was a nerdy ladies man, stuff like that. You know what I mean? We didn't have the 80s. There weren't a lot of negative in the 90s. There wasn't a lot of negative stereotype based TV shows. There were episodes that there might have been some kind of negativity on, but we didn't have like the stuff that's going on now. Every show that's out there is something negative within the black community. It's always got to be drama. There's nothing that is just a fun show. And correct me if I'm wrong. If you know of a show right now where it's entertaining, hilarious, and it involves people of color, and it is not in a negative light, let me know. And it doesn't mean I don't enjoy watching these shows, because let me tell you, I'll be watching BMF. I'll be watching The Shy. I gotta be honest, I've never seen a single episode of Power though. I've never seen a single episode. I might have seen clips, highlights, and yet I have met 50 Cent. I have and hung out at one of his birthday parties and his boxing match. He had a boxing match out here where I'm at. Not him, but he has a whole boxing promotion, right? I've met who else did I meet? Oh, Tommy and Tasha. I've met Tommy and Tasha. I hung out at a party with them. I have a video clip of Tasha, aka Notori Naughton from 3LW. I have a video clip of her giving me a shout out. And I know her husband. So I met them before they got married. He was like her manager, and we just was talking backstage at the event we were at, and it was the coolest thing. But there's not a lot of TV shows that represent us in a positive light. I've met so many reality stars, and there's a lot of reality TV shows where it's like it starts off, hey, hi, I'm this person. And then 5 seconds later, they're fighting or spitting or throwing a drink on each other or gossiping about somebody else, you know? So we don't have that many shows. But a show like The Cosby Show fizzled out, you know, years later because it was in syndication. Our kids was able to watch it. We were able to watch it again. And then they took it out because of what was alleged with Cosby. And I can't speak to that. I don't want to be like, disrespectful to anybody that claims or feels they were victimized in that scenario, but we do not have anything, like that. So for somebody like Malcolm Jamal Warner to be able to come out of that with his nose clean, unbruised, in a Hollywood that is considered Holly weird, I think that's just amazing. That's a testament within itself, that Malcolm was able to, just stay a positive light in the industry. There's some people that I have met who they were child stars and they just faded away out the industry, because of how they were treated or the sickness within the industry that they started to see when they were younger. But Malcolm must have had some great people behind him. His mom and dad had to have been like really pushing him and supporting him. At least in my eyes, that's what I'm hoping. That he had such a support system, and that's how, he was able to stay out of the drama throughout all these years. So, um, yeah, I don't know. It's sad. It's just sad to me being a celebrity photographer, meeting all these people, and like Malcolm was one of those people that I wanted to meet and didn't get an opportunity. To know a person that I would have wanted to meet that I won't get the chance. Like some people, you would assume it's somebody like a Michael Jackson, right? No, would I? Yes, yes, I would have. But like one of my top people, when people ask me this question that I would have wanted to meet that I would never get the opportunity, was Heavy D. You're asking me who Heavy D is? Heavy D was one of like the dopest rappers back when I was growing up. So I was not always this size. So I don't want people to think I'm saying it because he's fat. But as a light skinned black male, um, he represented that on a different level. Like the most iconic light skinned black male was Shamar Moore growing up, right? Everybody's like, ooh, 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 right? But for me, like Heavy D was funny, because he was an actor also, right? He was a rapper. He just was all around a dope brother, and I was hoping when I started in the industry in the game as a photographer, I was like I gotta meet him, and then he passed, and that opportunity I would have never gotten. So it's like this Malcolm kind of reminds me of that because I'm like, yo, I want to be able to meet Malcolm Jamal Warner. I want to say that I hung out with Theo. I wanted to ask him about that Gordon Gartrell shirt. Y'all know that yellow shirt with the like purplish blue color to it that was like the buttons was all crazy and the collar and the shoulders was wild. That was iconic. You know what I mean? That was hilarious. I love the fact that the way Malcolm acted, his acting skill was not just I was just telling this to my son. It wasn't just what you heard, right? It was what you saw. He was visual, like when you looked at his face, the facial expressions he made, his hand movements as he was acting out a line, you felt it. If he was being comical, you got the comedy in it. If he was being serious, you got that. you know that's why I think he just was very expressive. He just was an all-around dope person. Crystal S said for show iconic. SC Gilliam, keep speaking the truth. I don't know any other way to do it. Okay, I'm lying. There's a few other ways. I could do like everybody else and just start making up stuff. Get a million views, get paid off of this thing, and then it wouldn't matter because that's what a lot of people do. But I don't know any other way for me to do it and be right about it. Um, Seven Seekum Namu says, I remember that. I remember that. I mean, think about growing up, you see that, right? And then you think about your own prom, whether that episode happened before prom or after you did your prom, and it just brings and it elicits those kind of memories of being nervous and trying to figure it out, wanting to look your best. And then it's like nobody had it worse than Theo with that shirt. Nobody had it worse than him, you know, because he was trying to be stylish. He wanted the most name brand. You said, are those the camera glasses? Yep. These is amazing. Like, you could walk around and something can happen, right? Like, I seen a car accident and I just clicked it on, bam, and got footage. Um, you can be having a conversation and you got to remember something, and you can say, literally, hey, Meta, remind me to do another live tomorrow at the same time. It just told me, sure, it'll remind me to do another live tomorrow at 9 a.m. Right? So to and it's talking back. Thank you, Meta. Thank you. Um, so you can do stuff like that. When I'm out doing photography, Meta's listening to me. It won't stop. Stop, Meta. When I'm out doing photography, um, I can capture behind the scenes with this, and the quality is like sharp on, it's crystal clear. But you can also do video. So I mix video with this, with video from my phone and video from my other camera, and make like a mixed media thing. But this is the plus and the downside. The plus is the downside is there's a light that flashes right here. If you're doing video, that light stays on. So you cannot just be a pervert walking up trying to take pictures and images of girls without somebody noticing that light. And people are trying to find ways around doing that. I don't mind the light because it gives respect to other people, and they see the light and then they go, okay, so they know, and they don't start acting weird, or there's a part of me that wanted the naturalness of no one knowing, so that I can get like natural video of someone if they're interacting with people. They don't be like alarmed by the light. But what I notice is the light is it's like dim enough that it's not obtrusive to what you're trying to do. People don't really bother. They don't. They're okay. And usually what I do is I point to the light. So the light is out of this eye, the camera's out of this eye. I point right here, and then they be like, oh, okay. And then they just keep going about their business, right? And if somebody don't want to be on camera, then that's fine. Chris Smith said you can probably disable that through, like, it's probably just the wire to cut. No, the only way they disable it is more than a wire, because everything is kind of soldered onto like a board within these frames. Um, they disable it by poking a very small pinhole via like they heat up like a needle and poke it through the LED and disable the LED. But you have a chance of disabling the glasses. And these right here, this version is the $400 pair, because it's transition lenses. So when I'm outside, it turns into shade. Sunglasses. So, but it's uh it's an inconvenience, but if you're about your business, you trust me, you're not worried about it. Some people put a dot on these Ray-Ban Metas over the LED, but what happens is if this part is covered, when that light reflects, it has a sensor. If it does not get back light, then it will not record. So it is what it is. But I was using these backstage. I was at a concert with Total, H Town, and wow, who else was there? It was another group, 112. So I was backstage. So I literally was just walking backstage without having my phone up, just using the glasses. It captures audio with it also. My kids would be doing something wild and crazy, and I'll be right there, and I'll just be like, click. Sometimes my kids will like try to move out the camera because they know what I'm doing, and then sometimes they just go along with the program. Especially my daughter, because my daughter likes when I make edits with them. You can literally just throw these in like a editing software like CapCut, or I can use Meta's program where it can AI edit some of this stuff for you and make like change the background and everything. Yeah, you can get a prescription for it. It is not hard to pop the glass out. You pop it from like the top part of the corner, and just replace the glasses here. I think what I want to do, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna invest in these any further, because Google will be putting out a pair of glasses at some point, and then these are the basically the second version of Meta glasses. The first version was not necessarily called Meta, but these are the second. So there'll be another pair coming out soon. I'm on the check on that, and I usually try to skip a generation before I go all in, um, because the features become better on there. But I think I want to check out Google, because I think whichever one comes out with a screen inside of the glass, that's what I want to go for, because it'd be dope to see like the information that I'm asking it, as opposed to just hearing it, because you can't hear what Meta's telling me, but like if I talk to it, it will tell me all kinds of stuff. Like, um, for example, and this is information I don't know. I know limited. Hey Meta, what was the last few projects that Malcolm-Jamal Warner worked on? He was a surgeon, AJ Austin, on the TV show Resident. He had a spoken word album called Hiding in Plain View. See, it's dope. This the new wave. You know what I mean? So sometimes what I do is before I go live, I think about like what am I going to talk about, and then I talk to Meta and say, hey, or I use other digital things that I can type in, but generally because Meta's like right here with me, I can just have a conversation and ask it questions, and then I take my notepad and then I write down notes so that I'm not giving you false information. So I'm not that guy. You know what I mean? I'd rather be that guy that y'all gonna be like, oh, okay, at least he's giving us facts. Um, I don't even know what I was gonna say. I was gonna say something, and then my brain said, "Nah, bro, take a minute." Um, Listen, right now I see a few people that are watching me. If you can please do me a favor, if you haven't liked already, if you're not subscribed to me here, please do so. Please like this video. I'm trying to get my views up because it helps me. This is free for y'all to like. It's free for you to. Yo, my phone overheated. I don't know how that happened, but what I was saying was thank you for those that stayed right there and did not leave. But it's probably going to do it again. So let me. I guess it's time for me to wrap up. Normally I have the AC, but because I don't have, I'm waiting to get a piece where I can charge this and I can put my microphones on. Because listen, if it's hot in this car, I have to turn the AC off just to talk to y'all, because otherwise you're going to hear this. And I don't know if that sounds good to you, but I'm assuming that's not a good look. So I want to make sure I get the mics so that I'm good. I have mics. I just need it's a splitter for my phone, right? Anyways, without the AC on, the I have it in a stand and it's hot. So my phone does this thing where it's like, yo, it's too hot. We don't want to fry it. So, anyways, if you have not already liked this, please like it. Please drop a comment if you're feeling happy. Please subscribe. But I can be found at BKS Photographs on Instagram. That is my main Instagram page, but you can also find me there at the BKS Experience on Instagram. I believe that's what it is. On TikTok, you can find me at BKS Experience. Um, but I'm going to be doing something new, something different. It's not necessarily new, like this is something newly created, but for me, this is a new platform here. But I'll be going on Twitch. At Twitch, it's going to be twitch.tv backslash BKS experience. I'm going to say that one more time. Twitch.tv backslash BKS experience. That's EXPERIENCE. I think that's how you spell it. You can just look it up. You can look it up. But on there, I'll be able to show you video. I'll be able to play music. I can show you behind the scenes footage of some of the things that I've been a part of. We can play games on there, like music kind of games like aux battles, and I could do trivia and things of that nature. So I'm trying to do that because it's going to give me the ability to be more interactive, and to do more. So if you haven't already followed me, please follow me. If you watch this and you stay tuned when I got cut out, I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. If you're already following me, I got love for you, nothing but love. But I'll be looking for moderators for here and moderators for my Twitch. So if you are interested, please send me a DM on Instagram, which is at BKS Photographs. And, let's talk. Let's build. I'm looking for other people that can help me build those channels up. So people that can clip, people that are editors. Do I got any money? No, but I show love to those that show love to me. So if you're interested, you're a solid person, let's talk. With that said, I have been celebrity photographer Ty Waterman with the BKS experience. I want to leave you with this. Believe in yourself, because no matter what, when all is said and done, as long as you believe in yourself, that's one person that believes in you, and you always have somebody to believe in you. And just in case you need somebody else on your team, I believe in you. With that said, I am out. I hope you enjoy the rest of your night and have a great day tomorrow.